Welcome to the Business Growth and AI podcast, where we keep it raw and real and discuss topics around the challenges of growing a business and the role of AI in today's fast-changing business world. Join us for another uncensored episode where we're discussing how critical is sales traction for your business and the role of AI in sales. I'm Will, and my expertise lies in marketing and sales. I'm always learning, and AI has a lot to offer in terms of that learning curve.
Hi, I'm Tom. I manage an AI company, and I'm really excited about you joining us on our Business Growth and AI podcast. Hey Will, how's it going?
Doing great. So I want to get straight into this amazing topic. How critical is sales traction to the business?
So you've been spending a lot of time trying to come up with a product which actually people want or a service. You finally put it all together, you've launched your business, now you've got sales, amazing, wonderful, you've got a business going on. But let's look beyond sales and let's look at what sales traction is all about. So sales traction is like a repeat business model where people are buying things on a repeat basis, whether that's a monthly basis, quarterly, or a yearly basis. So that's like having an MRR. That's like monthly recurring revenue. So let's take the example of Amazon Prime, where you pay monthly fee, or Netflix, or Adobe, or Microsoft, or Expansify AI. But if you want to look beyond the software companies where you buy a product on a monthly basis, then you can look at sports. So you've got Wimbledon, which has a yearly event. You've got Champions League football, where there are matches happening on a monthly basis or even a weekly basis. And if you want to look beyond sports, then you can look at music events. So you've got Glastonbury, which is a yearly event. Or you've got Coachella. So when you look at a sales traction, what you're looking at is a repeat pattern where the product is being purchased on a frequency basis. Then that may be a weekly, monthly, a half yearly, or a yearly. And that helps you define models which really give you predictability on the sales. So it's like building a Lego, one top of the other. So it's like having a product on a sales traction model, and then you build a model on top of the other and understand how far that sales traction model can take you.
That's a really interesting way to look at it. I mean, most people look at businesses from a product perspective, but to look at it through a sales traction model is quite fascinating. So why is it so important to look at it from a sales traction model? And I have some burning questions about the role of AI, but we'll wait for that.
Well, nothing wrong with looking at sales from a product perspective, because clearly without a product you wouldn't have sales. But when you look at things from a sales traction model, you're trying to add KPIs with some element of predictability to your sales, and what can you expect on a monthly basis, or a quarterly basis, or a yearly basis. So let's take the example of Pret-a-Manger, which is a sandwich and a coffee shop. So they've introduced a membership where for £5 you can have unlimited coffees. So that in itself gives them an analysis or a predictability of how many customers have that repeat purchase. They can then, on top of that, add any upsells or cross-selling products. So sales traction is almost like having a bridge to how far do you want to take your business? Do you want to take it to £1 million, or do you want to take it to 5 million or 100 million? That just means you can then work backwards in understanding how many products can you put in within those sales traction in terms of repeat purchases, and then build that different bridges which will take you to where you need to get to. So sales traction is really, really critical from a KPIs standpoint.
That's fascinating stuff. So now where does AI come into the sales traction, or sales in general?
Well, you really can't get away from AI, anything you do now. So in sales, it's even more important. There is clearly the obvious choice, which is to do with generative AI in terms of creating the assets for your sales campaigns or your marketing campaigns. But I think where the real value lies of AI is actually on the data or the analytics part of it. That is the layer which understands what's working, what's not working in terms of your campaigns. You can then run multiple tests and you can identify which sales strategy is prone to maximum CTA or the results. So for example, on an email, you can almost target customers which are prone to repeat purchases or new offers or first-time customers or discounts. So you can almost hone in and target, and you can then almost build a model to define what your predictable sales could be based on applying AI to your sales campaigns. Then you can also look at applying conditional flows where you can almost automate messaging. So if you've got a financial product like a payroll, you can almost target your finance managers, and then you can build flows on top of each other where, depending on how receptive your target audience is, you can have multiple messages and test them out in terms of A/B tests and what is working, what isn't working, and that AI can help you almost automate that. AI in itself is just an automation tool, so it's almost like what PCs were back in the day. So PCs came in and they help with productivity and efficiency, and AI is just another advancement where it uses algorithms to better understand the creative parts as well as the data layer or the optimization side of things, and how to just do things more effectively and to get better results for far more cost-efficient ways.
And is there a benchmark when it's right to use AI for sales? And secondly, who is AI best suited for? Is it startups, established companies, or large entities? What's your take?
Well, I think AI is used in every business, and will be. As time goes on, AI will become embedded in all processes. So, of course, at a conceptual stage, AI is difficult to apply. But once you know your strategy, whether you want to build a product or you want to test a particular strategy in terms of marketing campaigns or sales campaigns, AI is pivotal on the generative AI part, but also on the data analytics part. So that will help you define not just on sales, but also on the product development side. You can understand responses, and you can almost segment and target customers in a different way. So I think there isn't a specific answer as to where it's best suited for. I think everyone ought to use AI as part of their processes to almost have a reinforcement behavior to understand how to do things in a more cost-effective way, in an efficient and productive way. So AI is almost like using it as part of your processes and building it into your product.
Just thinking back about sales traction, is this applicable to every business? Or do you need certain skills to excel in sales?
So, I most definitely think that every business could apply sales traction, whether that's an accounting service or a hair care business or a salon business or a software business. It's more about understanding the product, the features of your product. Why do people buy? And then when are they likely to buy it next time? And then baking that into a sales traction model. Clearly, software companies are really, really good at doing that because they keep on adding and releasing more features, and then they release new versions. So any business can actually apply that. You just have to be willing to understand your customer behavior and then bake that into your sales model. Sales traction can be built by any business. I know, will AI replace people? Definitely not. I think AI is just an automation tool. It uses algorithms to better understand what works and what doesn't work. It is almost embedding it into processes to create efficiency and productivity. So, automation has been used in pilots or in flying planes. Does that mean that the pilots have gone away? No, I don't think so. There are some menial tasks like creating assets or certain type of repetitive tasks which can easily be undertaken by AI, but I don't think AI in itself is a replacement of people. You've still got to use AI to get better results or to drive more optimization of where it's working and where it isn't working. So I think the onus is on people to retrain and understand how AI can help them do their jobs more efficiently. But I definitely don't think AI will replace humans. I think, if anything, AI is just another advancement, and it's part of tech which is here to stay, and it'll only evolve with time, and it'll help do things quicker, better, and in a far more optimized way. And it's the job of humans to be able to program and configure it to get the best results.
Do you think salespeople are born, or can anyone learn the skill? Because some people think it's all about natural charisma, like you either got it or you don't, while others believe that anyone can become a sales rock star if you got the right training. What's your take on that?
So, can every singer sing? Yes, they can. Can every singer make billions in a year like Taylor Swift? Probably not. So I think the sales ability varies. It's relative to everyone. And everyone, in terms of their sales ability, has to go on their own journey of development or life cycle. So, but nowadays, it's far more than just face-to-face selling. It's all about digital selling. So that, you've got to be able to understand the digital traction, your digital traffic, where your customers are coming from, how are they prone to messaging, what kind of messaging do you need to deliver across the different channels, whether that be web or social. So let's take an example here. In order to understand your traffic, here we've searched for Nike on a global traffic basis. So digitally, Nike is getting about 30.4 million digital traffic. So within Nike, if you were to look at the different products, you can look at Jordan 1s, which are getting about 2.24 million, but then Air Force is getting about 3.35 million. So clearly here, you can understand that the digital traffic is far more higher for Air Force. So if you were to try and target the digital traffic, you'd clearly focus your energies on Air Force One, because there's more traffic, and you might want to have different messaging for Air Force One as opposed to different messaging for Jordan 1. So nowadays, sales is much more than just going out and using your natural charisma, and it's about understanding the messaging. How do you target customers differently? Messaging is key. You've got to sell the value of your product, not the product itself. So selling is far more complex, and there's a plethora of elements which you've got to consider to be able to sell effectively nowadays.
So here's a big one. Does cold calling or cold emailing still work? Or are they just outdated tactics in today's digital world? I mean, with everyone talking about inbound marketing, social selling, and AI, are these methods even worth the effort anymore?
Most definitely it does. I don't think cold emailing or cold calling will ever go out of fashion. It's just that the key is to understand at what point do you turn your customers from cold to warm. So I think the key is to almost have the right messaging so that your customers or your prospects are warm. And at what point do they love your product as much as you love your product? So messaging again is key. Sell the value or the features of your product as opposed to the product itself. Your customers need to understand why they need it in their life, and how does it make that really, really big impact to their lives. So you almost got to have that affinity. It's not about cold emailing, it's about converting your cold customers into warm. And how are you going to use the tools or the different mediums to get them converted?
I agree. Cold calling and cold emailing aren't dead. They've just gotten smarter. I think with AI and sales platforms, you're not just blindly reaching out to anyone anymore. I think AI helps you identify who's actually engaging with your content, like which leads are opening your emails or spending time on your site. And then you can prioritize those people. So instead of blasting out hundreds of emails or making random cold calls, AI ensures you're targeting the right people at the right time. and with a more tailored message as well. And both cold calls and emails can still work, but I think it's no longer about the sheer volume. I think it's more about precision and timing. So, where is the future of sales and the role of AI in that future?
I think the role of AI is almost going to become one with sales. So sales and AI are going to be intertwined, almost like the stem of the money plant. One would be dependent on the other. So the key is to use AI as much as possible to generate your assets as quickly as possible, run your campaigns, then have data applied on top of those campaigns in terms of your KPI and your analysis. So algorithms define what is working, what isn't working, and then the optimization stage. So constantly refining your generative AI to get the data and then double down on things which bring results and slow down on activities which don't. So that's really where the future is heading. AI is there to speed up results and to cut back on waste and inefficiencies.
So what's your view, Tom? When sometimes in sales, no matter what you try, things just aren't really working out for you. Do you ever get that whilst running your sales strategies?
Well, that's true for anything in life, right? Running a business or a marketing strategy or a sales strategy is like running a marathon. The difference is that this marathon starts every morning and almost ends every night. And then you've got to start the same marathon again and again. There are times when certain sales strategies just don't work, and that's just part of life. And that's just the way it works. So when this happens, it's just time to pivot. And there isn't much to do. So I think the key message is that you can try as much, and there are times when you just, your data tells you that things aren't working, and at that point there isn't much to do other than pivot.
Tom, it's been really refreshing to hear your perspective. I can't wait to see how the sales landscape evolves, especially with AI. I've really enjoyed our conversation, and I can't wait for our next one.
Thank you for joining us on our weekly podcast for business growth and AI, and we can't wait to see you on the next one.